Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about the DC villain Javelin, who is soon to appear in the new Suicide Squad movie directed by James Gunn in 2021, which I'm extremely excited for. So, here, all we know about Javelin's past is he was a former Olympic winner who used to use javelins. We don't know why he became a criminal. Now, he first appeared in Green Lantern number 174, written by Len Wein and Dave Gibbons. In this story, he was hired by a congressman to steal a prototype engine from Ferris Airfield. Now, when he shows up, he's just there in the road, and he stops the truck holding the engine with a javelin, which he does this with these extendable javelins he'll pull out of his pocket. Now, Green Lantern, who goes after people who stole it, he eventually finds the people who stole it and deflects the thing they shoot at him. Javelin then shows up and attacks him, and the way he takes down Green Lantern is he throws a javelin at him, which shoots yellow paint onto him, or some type of yellow liquid. We don't know, I can't remember exactly what it is, I just know it's yellow. Now, back in the day, Green Lantern, his weakness was yellow, and this was because Parallax, which is like this fear entity that works for like the Sinestro Corps, he was stuck in the Green Lantern's like big power battery on Oa. Now, eventually they took care of this, but it was kind of really stupid how Green Lantern was so easily beat by yellow. I mean, in All-Star Batman and Robin, even Batman painted a whole room yellow just so Green Lantern wouldn't have that much power. And, I mean, it's funny, but it's kind of messed up at the same time. Now, here's the thing about Javelin, though, is he's kind of like Green Arrow, where he has a bunch of trick javelins. Like, each javelin can do something different. Like, for instance, how Green Arrow has, like, an exploding arrow or a boxing glove arrow. Javelin has like a tracking javelin. He has a exploding javelin, one that shoots yellow stuff onto Green Lantern. He has just a bunch of different trick javelins, kind of like Green Arrow. Picking off from where the last story left off, in Green Lantern number 174, I shot a javelin into the sky. We continue the story from where Green Lantern is falling out of the sky after being shot with a yellow liquid javelin through at him. And the way Green Lantern escapes this is by making more air coming into the thing until it pops like a bubble. He tries to fly and find Javelin, but all he finds is a decoy Javelin in an old junkyard. While this is going on, Javelin is on the phone with the senator who hired him to steal the prototype from Ferris Airfield. And he pretty much is calling him like, look, have you destroyed the prototype yet? And he's like, no, I have not. Which, the reason he hasn't is he has bigger plans for it. He wants to destroy Ferris Airfield at the same time as well. So, after all this has happened, Green Lantern, for some reason, is doubting his ability. He kisses his Carol, and, you know, he flies off to get Javelin, and he goes back to the where he found the decoy Javelin in the junkyard. And when he gets there, he's surrounded by Javelin's guys, who he quickly takes out with a pretty cool trick by raising his hands. He then rips off the ground to reveal Javelin's hideout. Javelin lunges at him, and they get into a fight with Javelin throwing javelins at Green Lantern dodging it. And then this giant javelin shoots off like a missile with the prototype controlling it. And Green Lantern, he can't do anything because it's yellow, which is kind of stupid too. Like I said, we've been over why the yellow thing is stupid. But he pulls out the prototype using his ring, and he puts this parachute on it so it drops down. He then creates a net to catch the thing before it crashes into Ferris Airfield, and that was how the story ended. Also, Javelin got away. Javelin would then reappear in Justice League International number 13, Collusion Course, written by Keith Griffin and J.M. DeMatteis. Now, this story begins with Batman sitting at the Justice League's main computer brooding over the fact that this character, known as Nemesis, he's been captured by Russians and put in a prison. And Batman, well, he knows this guy from the past, and he wants to free him from the place. But some of the leaguers don't really agree with this idea, so he's kind of sitting there figuring out how they would do it. Now, to be honest, I really didn't know who Nemesis was until I saw the picture. I was like, oh, wait, I remember him from Justice League Unlimited. But anyway, while all this is going on, the Suicide Squad, who now has the member of Javelin on there. We don't know how he got on there. We don't know how long he'll be on there, because there's no telling how long he'll last in the Suicide Squad. But anyway, they want to go after Nemesis as well, without Amanda Waller knowing. So they all pack up and go to Russia to get their former teammate. While this is going on, Amanda Waller is with the president like, look, you need to send your Justice League to do this because I don't want the Suicide Squad getting involved. Because she just found out they went on their own. Now, Batman is arguing with other Leaguers on should they go to Russia and rescue Nemesis, while Red Rocket's like, nah, that's some foreign affairs you don't want to get involved with. And Martian Manhunter and Batman get an argument over who's the leader, and the story ends with the Justice League coming face to face with the Suicide Squad, heading for a collusion course that'll only end in a fight. Picks up in Suicide Squad number 13, Battle Lines, written by John Ostrander and penciled by Luke McDowell. So, picking up where we left off, the squad is face to face with the Justice League, and this is the first time they've ever met each other, except for Batman, who knew about the Suicide Squad. Anyway, the whole fight begins when a character known as Duchess says, like, look, don't I recognize you talking to Mr. Miracle? Well, before she can touch him, Blue Beetle grabs her. She tries to throw a punch at him. He dodges and throws her over his shoulder. Now, this caused a whole fight to break out. Now, why does this girl recognize Mr. Miracle? Well, she's actually a character known as Lashina, who is a female Fury who works for Granny Goodness and Darkseid on Apocalypse. So, everybody's fighting now, and Rick Flagg's like, look, I'm going to go try to talk to Batman and see if I can stop all this. While Martian Manhunter has a moment with Vixen, and they talk, they don't fight, and Green Lantern fights Captain Boomerang. So Rick Flag goes to Batman and is like, look, we need to end this, like, we can work together, we can stop this, and Batman's like, no, I'm not going to stop this, because even if I was still the leader of the Justice League, I still wouldn't stop this, because when I came to you and I told you that this needs to end, you didn't listen to me. You make all of my work look like a joke. So no, I'm not going to help you. And Rick Flag, he grabs him by the shoulder and is like, look, like, don't leave me here, like, and Batman, like, backhands him, which causes this brutal brawl to break out between the two of them. While this is going on, Javelin and Booster Gold are fighting each other. Javelin tries throwing a bunch of javelins at Booster Gold, but Booster Gold has this ability where he can create a force field. So this force field, the javelins hit it, and they shoot right back at Javelin. So, immediate fail. Also, Mr. Miracle and Deadshot, they're fighting. Also, Batman's still beating the crap out of Rick Flag, and Rick Flag's beating the crap out of him. It's a surprisingly equal fight. And it's just real interesting to see, because you wouldn't think Rick Flag would be able to do that. So, it turns out that while all this was going on, Adam and Nightshade, they had gone and freed Nemesis. So they're on their way back, like, look, if we're going to get out of here, we have to work together. We got to stop all this fighting. So everyone kind of quits fighting, except for Batman and Rick Flag, who are still duking it out. Like, it's a brutal fight. I mean, there's no blood, but it's just brutal because they're just still punching each other, even after there's a truce. Like, it's like two enemies or two guys who met up in a bar and got in a drunk fight. It's like that, pretty much. They're still fighting. And it's just insane that, you know, just the fight that's going on. It's an awesome panel. It's almost like a school fight where you have two people holding them back from fighting each other. It's so cool. But the story ends with Justice League end up taking Nemesis to a Russian embassy to be protected instead of being executed in Russia, while Rick Flag recovers because he needs to be in the hospital after the beating he took from Batman. Javelin then reappeared in Suicide Squad number 58, written by John Ostrander and Jeff Isherwood. Now, this story was a tie-in to an event called the War of Gods, and in this event, you had Wonder Woman fighting Circe, whose god Helicate, or I think I'm saying that right, wanted to kill the Earth god Gaia. And this was a big problem because you don't want to do that. So the story begins with the Blue Beetle villain known as Catalyst crashing through the hospital where Amanda Waller's standing at and tells her, look, Black Adam is here. Black Adam comes to Amanda Waller and tells her, look, I need your squad to help me invade this island that's in the Amazon rainforest where Circe is keeping something. So she eventually agrees after, quick back and forth. So then you have Black Adam and the Suicide Squad, which consisted of Vertigo, Deadshot, a character called the Rider, who I'm thinking about covering, but I don't know, and Nightshade as well as Javelin. So they show up, and when they get there, they're welcomed by these monsters called Werebeast, and it's just this ensuing brawl. And during the brawl, Javelin and Nightshade go off into a waterfall to see what they can find, while Ryder, he gets mauled by a werebeast. And the story ended with Pariah, who is from the event called Crisis on Infinite Earths. If you remember, he came to different worlds and was like, look, I've come to warn you, your Earth is going to die. And that was the sad part about it is he couldn't do anything to stop it. He had to sit there and watch those worlds die. So the fact that he is here in this event, you know something bad is about to happen. The story would then continue in War of Gods number 3, written by George Perez and penciled by George Perez. Now, this story, it begins where we left off, with Javelin and Nightshade in the catacombs, or they find a secret cavern and they're going through it, trying to find an entrance to get to Circe, but Black Adam gets there first. When Black Adam gets there, she messes him up. Even though he messes up a bunch of werebeasts, she messes him up. And I guess she puts him under a spell. Javelin and Nightshade show up, but by the time they get there, he's already beaten. So Javelin, being Javelin, tries to throw a javelin at Circe. Circe turns it around, throws it right through Javelin's back, and knocks him against the wall. Also, while this is going on, Suicide Squad is still fighting werebeast on the island. Hermes is trying to fight Circe on a different plane. And Olympus, and it ends with Olympus just showing itself to everybody. Yeah, a lot happens at War of Gods. I'm not going over all of it. There's way too much. Javelin then had a small appearance in the short-lived comic book series known as Power Company. When he appeared in issue number 5, Manhunted. And in his appearance, he fought the character known as Skyrocket. Javelin then made another small appearance in the comic book series known as Deadshot. And in this comic book series, Deadshot kind of gave up his old ways so he could clean up the neighborhood where his daughter lived that he just found out he has one, pretty much, after I guess he slept with some girl a while back. And issue 4, the way that one ended is the gangsters retired Deadshot messed up their stuff, so they hired a bunch of B-list and D-list villains. In issue 5, Deadshot faces off against these villains, and of course, it doesn't go as the villains had planned. Javelin is also part of that group, so he goes after Deadshot, and he tries throwing an explosive javelin at him. Deadshot shoots it out of his hand, and it blows up. Massive fail. Deadshot, after shooting Firebug in the chest, causes an explosion to happen, which fakes his death, causing his wife to believe that he is dead. He then returns back to his normal job. As, Javelin would then reappear in the comic series known as Checkmate in issue number 6 and issue number 7. And in this story, the story pretty much begins with Amanda Waller going to a now-free Rick Flag, who was freed by Bronze Tiger from a prison, for another job. And this job involves freeing a metahuman who's been locked up by Checkmate. So, part of this also has to do with Mirror Master, who has gotten a group of villains together to go break this metahuman out of whatever base Checkmate has her in. And this group consists of Javelin, a villain known as Plastique, Mirror Master, Icicle, a couple called Punch and Julie, who some of you might know, some of you might not know, Icicle, and the Tattooed Man, who I believe is also a Green Lantern villain. So, they go over the plan, and honestly, nobody has a lot of faith in the plan. Icicle tries to roast Javelin, doesn't go to plan, Javelin roasts him back. Oh, and Mirror Master's doing cocaine. So then they go to the base and try to pull off their thing. It goes terribly wrong. Soldiers appear, and so then Rick Flag and Bronze Tiger have to jump to the rescue, kick a guy off a car. Well, here's the problem. The car is heading right for Julie. And Javelin, being the gentleman he is, pushes her out of the way, and he gets hit by the car, knocked unconscious. However, the squad does, they succeed in their mission, but Javelin got knocked out, and that was his appearance in Checkmate, pretty much. Oh, gosh. Darn it, Javelin. Why? His most latest appearance is in Justice League Cry for Justice, which took place after the events of Final Crisis, in which a lot of things happen, including Batman dying after being hit with Omega Beams, and Martian Manhunter dying as well. Now, since both of them died, some of the members of Justice League, they kept doing their thing, while Green Lantern and Green Arrow, they wanted justice. So they go to Gotham, and they get a tip, while reminiscing about Batman, that a bunch of supervillains are in Gotham right now, just causing chaos. So Green Lantern and Green Arrow decide to go stop them. And they take out a bunch of them. And, then Adam and Shazam show up. But while they aren't looking, Javelin gets up after being knocked out, tries to throw a javelin at them, and is then knocked out by Supergirl. Yeah, this guy just can't catch a break, can he? But yeah, that was his like most latest appearance of him in the comics. So what do I think Javelin's fate in Suicide Squad will be? Well, he's obviously gonna die. I'm sorry, but why do I think this? Well, many reasons. One, he's not well known, and two, his description is his character is described as being confident and over cocky. And from what we've seen in comics, in this video just now, he's pretty clumsy. I mean, you have to be pretty confident if you think like Javelin's gonna kill Circe. So here's my idea of what's gonna happen. Javelin's on the first team of the Suicide Squad to try to go shut down Jotunheim. They fail terribly, and Harley Quinn is probably gonna be like the only surviving member of that group. There'll be like some type of big event. Maybe Captain Boomerang, but I don't know about him. Because nobody is off limits. And Captain Boomerang, them killing him would not be a big deal. However, killing Harley Quinn, that's a no-no for some people. And I also think that in the trailer, this scene right here, you see that Harley Quinn is shooting these people. This is her after surviving this attack. And why she has Javelin's javelin is, well, I guess he died and she took it as a weapon in case she needed it. So I think most of the movie, I don't think Harley Quinn will show up until about we won't see Harley Quinn with the main team that you see in the trailers of Peacemaker, Bloodsport, and Rick Flag, and Ratcatcher, or King Shark. You won't see them together probably till the middle of the movie. And I think this because the whole basis of this Suicide Squad is there are two teams. One is going to be led by Peacemaker, or no, it's going to be led by Bloodsport, and it's going to consist of Peacemaker, Ratcatcher, King Shark, and I believe that Rick Flag, he's on the helicopter as you saw with the other people. I don't exactly know how it's gonna work. I'm guessing Rick Flag gets rescued before Harley, and he tells them, here's her last location, and that's why you get this scene here in the beginning of that first trailer we ever got of them trying to rescue Harley Quinn, but she doesn't need rescuing. So that's pretty much my theory, is that most of the movie is going to have to do with the second team going in after the first team to rescue the remaining members and shut down Jotunheim, this metahuman prison that is working on Project Starfish, or Starro as I put it, because let's be honest, that's Starro, we all know it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will be coming out with more videos, I think. I might be doing one on Peacemaker, maybe one on the Rider, but we'll just wait and see, and yeah, hope y'all have a good day. Peace.